Hello, everyone. Today, I want to reflect on what it means to be a God manager for life. When I reflect on who I am as a Christian, that is the word that came to me, God's manager for life. And I'm getting that from the scriptures that teach us that we were bought with a price, number one. And then secondly, First Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2 tells us that we are stewards. We are not owners. And so that means that we are managers. And if I keep that concept in my head, it will help me to live a better life. It will help me to live in the way that I manage my body, the things that go into my body, the amount of sleep that I get from my body, and my overall health. And then secondly, and this is, even though I'm doing it second, this is primarily where it first started, is understanding how to manage my money. Many times, when we go to church, we hear about tithing, we hear about giving, and we should be generous. But one of the things that gave me the impression always that if we gave 10% of our income, then the other 90 cents was up for grabs. We could do whatever we wanted to with it. Well, friends, I want to let you know that that is not what the way it is. God is concerned about the entire 100%. You might say it to yourself, are you kidding me? You mean to tell me that once I give the 10% that I can't do whatever I want to with the other 90? Well, I am here to tell you just that. And so what I learned from, the courses of study when I worked in corporate America, and my husband and I made, a pretty good amount of money. We spent a good amount of money. And before you know it, we were in a good amount of debt. And trying to overcome that and get over that was a hurdle. But my mindset changed about the entire 100%. And what I learned is that all that I am, all that I have belongs to God. The psalmist tells us that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Now, we may not always live like that, but this idea of being a God manager for life has brought me back around to understand that that is really what I need to be focusing on. So during the times that we are meeting together, I'm going to talk about how we spend our money. I'm going to talk about what the scriptures tell us about how we manage what God gives us, what the scripture tells us about how we are supposed to manage our bodies, as I said before, our intake and just our overall health. It's one of the reasons that the Sabbath was instituted. Even when Jesus was on earth, and the scribes and the Pharisees were always going against him, talking about when he would heal people on the Sabbath. And he had to help them to understand that the Sabbath was made for man. And so what that basically means is that the Sabbath was instituted for our own benefit. The Sabbath was instituted so that we could get rest, so that we would not work and be out workaholics all of our lives. It was for us to be able to slow down and to be able to get the rest. And so that really, if you think about it that way, God was instituting a way for us to maintain our body's health, to lower our stress level. Think about the world that we live in right now, where people are so stressed out. And I'm sure it's good for the therapist business. And I'm not knocking that at all, because if you need therapy, you should definitely seek therapy. You should definitely want to be in the best mental framework that we can be in. But I am just saying some of it, not all of it. So please don't misunderstand me. But some of it is caused because we just won't slow down. And I believe that COVID was really a wake-up call for many of us. we were so busy trying to accomplish. When COVID hit, it shut everybody down. And so it gave us a time to think about resetting, restarting, retooling, if that is a term that you might want to embrace. And so, what I want to talk about in these upcoming episodes is how I am a God manager for life. I am managing my life based upon the fact that I have been bought with a price, based upon the fact that I am a steward of all of the resources that God gives to me. And just like any manager, where you go to a job, you are responsible for managing the boss's goods. You're responsible for making sure that you are doing the work that the manager assigns to you. And one of the things that you must remember is that we always have to report back to the manager, don't you? And so you don't want to give him a bad report. Now, with God, we understand that he loves us. And the Bible tells us that nothing shall separate us from the love of God. And so I'm not even going there to, in this kind of, mode that says if we don't dot every I and cross every T, God's going to whack us over the head. So I want to get away from that, because that is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that we just want to please him. That is the point. When we work at these companies, I know when I worked in corporate America, I always wanted to do a good job. And I know even now as a pastor, I don't have someone standing over me, but I want to do a good job, because I know that God has called me to work in his vineyard and to do what he has assigned to my hands. And so, beloved, I want you to join me on this journey as we unpack what it means to be a God manager, especially as it relates to our money. And I know that you will agree with me that COVID was a wake-up call for many of us who may have been wasting money during that time. And we saw how expensive things have become even now, and how some people, have taken advantage of the COVID situation, and prices are sky high. And I know they say it's supply and demand, and I'm not going to even go there at this juncture. But the bottom line is that we are living with less, because every time we go out to buy something, even the things that we need, as we go out to buy them, we are paying much more for them. And so I want to help you, if you have never had a spending plan, if you've never lived on a budget, if you've never even calculated what your net worth is, if you've never started to save, if you've never opened up a bank account or done any of those things, or if you've never thought about retirement. For example, many of you may be young and you think, I have all of these years until I'm going to retire, so I don't need to do anything now. Well, I'm going to tell you that now is the time that you really need to start thinking about retirement. Now is the time for you to start, investing small, investing in mutual funds, doing something like that. Many of you may have a 401k or 403b, on your jobs, but you can also have an individual retirement account. And trust me, the way interest works, it could yield you a lot of money. And instead of you having to retire at 70, because I'm sure that the retirement age is going to go up because of the longevity of our lives, and we're much more healthy these days. But you could retire at 55, and you could start a whole new career. Doesn't that sound exciting to you? And so what I want you to be a God's manager for life. I want you to say, that's who I am. When somebody asks you, who are you? And you might want to say, I am God's manager for life. I am managing the resources that God has given me. I'm managing my time on earth that God has given me. I am endeavoring to not overwork, to not overspend, and to not overindulge my body so that I stay healthy and so that I live my best life. And so, beloved, I pray that you would join me right here on God's Manager for Life. My name is Reverend Dr. Piola Hicks, and I thank you for joining me today. God bless you.